Have you ever wondered how often older people should masturbate to stay healthy? It might feel a little uncomfortable to talk about, but for older people, it's more important than many think. You see, we talk a lot about diet, walking, and medication, but rarely do we talk about one of the most natural parts of being human: self-pleasure. For many people over 60, especially those who live alone or no longer have a partner, masturbation isn't just a physical act. It's a way to stay connected to their body, manage stress, improve sleep, and yes, even maintain vital health markers that doctors don't always talk about. That's why, in today's video, we're going to gently and respectfully unpack the truth behind masturbation after 60. We'll talk about 5 key reasons why it might be more important than you think, how often is considered healthy, and why this subject deserves to be treated with maturity and care, not embarrassment or shame. So, if you're over 60 or love someone who is, and you've ever quietly wondered whether touching yourself now and then is still okay, this video will not only answer that, it might just change the way you see aging altogether. Let's get started. Number 1. Hormonal balance. As we get older, one of the biggest shifts we face is hormonal. For men, testosterone begins to decline, sometimes slowly, sometimes more sharply. For women, estrogen drops off after menopause. These shifts don't just affect energy or mood, they impact sleep, immune function, muscle strength, and even how much we enjoy life. Here's where things get interesting. Regular sexual activity, including masturbation, has been shown in multiple studies to support hormonal stability even into our later years. When a person experiences orgasm, the body releases a cocktail of hormones, including dopamine, oxytocin, and, in men, a brief spike in testosterone. While the boost might be temporary, the cumulative effect of regular release can help maintain healthier hormonal cycles overall. For women, the release of oxytocin and estrogen-related responses can help ease some of the more uncomfortable symptoms of aging, including vaginal dryness, insomnia, and mood swings. This isn't speculation. Doctors in both urology and geriatrics are increasingly noting how moderate sexual activity improves blood work, emotional health, and even bone density. And yet, due to outdated beliefs or cultural taboos, many older people avoid it entirely, thinking it's shameful or something meant only for the young. But I want to challenge that. Taking care of your body includes managing your hormones, and in the same way you might take a walk to lower blood pressure or drink water to stay hydrated, a little regular self-love can keep your inner chemistry in better shape. I once knew a gentleman named Harold, 78, widowed, lived alone in Ohio. He was the picture of polite restraint, the kind of man who'd never talk about personal things, but one day over coffee, he admitted that for years, he struggled with insomnia and tension. After reading a health article that encouraged older adults to embrace healthy touch, he gave himself permission to try. Within a few weeks, his sleep improved, his blood pressure dropped, and he smiled more. He said it wasn't about lust. It was about connection, about knowing his body still worked. And he told me, I wish someone had told me 10 years earlier it was okay. There's no one-size-fits-all schedule here, but for hormonal health, even once or twice a week can make a noticeable difference. It's not about frequency as much as intention. When it's done with care and mindfulness, it becomes an act of well-being, not a secret to hide. So, if you're wondering where to begin, just start. By removing the guilt, your body is not broken or dirty. It's human. And your hormones, even now, deserve a little support. Number 2, cardiovascular circulation. When you think of heart health, masturbation probably isn't the first thing that comes to mind, but maybe it should be. Most people associate cardiovascular health with diet, exercise, and medication, but they often overlook one of the body's most natural ways to get the blood pumping: sexual activity, even solo. Masturbation increases heart rate, improves circulation, and mimics the effects of light. Aerobic exercise, especially in older adults whose physical activity may already be limited due to joint pain or energy levels. Let's break that down a bit. When you're aroused, your blood vessels expand, and your heart starts pumping faster. That movement helps keep arteries flexible, pushes blood into smaller vessels that may not see much action otherwise, and can even reduce plaque buildup when done regularly. While it's not a replacement for walking or strength training, it does support the same goal: keeping your vascular system alive, responsive, and efficient. One of the biggest risks as we age is stagnation. Both physically and emotionally, sitting too long, thinking the same thoughts, going through the same routines. But regular masturbation gently disrupts that. It causes a temporary rise in blood pressure, followed by a relaxation response that helps vessels stay elastic. And perhaps even more importantly, it teaches your body that pleasure is still possible, that there's still movement and response in places you might have written off as done. There was a woman named Carol I once spoke to. She was 72, a retired school teacher, and lived with her cat in a quiet little town in Oregon. For years, she'd struggled with cold extremities and a general sense of tiredness. Despite her clean diet and daily walks, her doctor had ruled out anything serious, but the sluggish circulation remained. After a friend half-jokingly suggested she explore solo intimacy, she hesitated but gave it a try. Within a month, she noticed warmer hands and feet, a brighter face in the mirror, and, to her surprise, more energy in the afternoons. She said, "It's like my body finally remembered how to wake up. It's easy to forget how connected everything is. Blood flow isn't just about organs or muscles, it's about life force. It's about nourishing every inch of you, reminding your system that you're still here, still worthy of pleasure and movement." If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now, well, let's move forward. Number 3, emotional regulation. One of the most overlooked benefits of masturbation in older adulthood is how deeply it supports emotional balance. We often talk about hormone levels, circulation, and even muscle tone. But what about how it affects your mood? At a time in life when many people feel lonely, anxious, or disconnected, something as personal and simple as solo pleasure can actually serve as a powerful emotional stabilizer. When you climax, your body releases a wave of feel-good chemicals: dopamine, serotonin, endorphins, and oxytocin. These aren't just fleeting mood boosters. They play critical roles in reducing anxiety, improving sleep, enhancing optimism, and even increasing emotional resilience. In a world that constantly tells older people to slow down or settle, these moments of physiological joy remind you that you still have access to delight, spontaneity, and comfort, all from within your own body. There's also something powerful about having a routine that's entirely your own. In an age where many seniors feel like their independence is slipping due to illness, financial worry, or even the simple challenge of keeping up with modern technology, having an experience that you don't need permission for, don't need to explain, and don't need anyone else for can be emotionally grounding. It becomes a ritual of self-trust, a moment when the body and mind are in sync and reminded that peace is possible. I remember George, a widower, in his early 80s. He told me that after his wife passed, the days just blurred together. Meals tasted dull, music didn't stir him like it used to. But then he read an article that suggested solo pleasure could help lift mood in seniors. He was skeptical, even embarrassed. But eventually, one evening, he allowed himself to explore that space again, not out of lust, but out of a desire to feel human. He described the tears that came afterward, not of shame, but of relief. It was the first moment in months that his body felt connected to something real, not to a memory, but to the present. That's the key here. Emotional regulation isn't just about calming down, it's about coming back to your senses, back to your breath, back to a version of yourself that feels whole again. And for many older adults, masturbation can be one of the gentlest, most private paths back to that place. It doesn't require a therapist. It doesn't require a conversation, just time, space, and the willingness to feel. So, while some may scoff or feel awkward talking about this topic, the truth is, our emotional well-being matters just as much at 70 to 80 as it did at 20. Maybe even more, because we've lived through so much. And that means we deserve every tool that helps us feel safe, soothed, and seen. And this just might be one of them. Number 4, immune support. It might surprise you, but masturbation plays a subtle yet meaningful role in strengthening the immune system, especially as we age. Most people don't link sexual activity, particularly solo activity, with immune function, but science tells a different story. In fact, the physiological changes that occur during and after climax can directly boost your body's ability to defend itself against illness. Let's break this down. When you masturbate and experience orgasm, your body initiates a mini stress release cycle. Your heart rate rises, circulation improves, and your body flushes out a surge of cortisol, the stress hormone. But here's the twist. That temporary rise is followed by a sharp drop, bringing your stress levels lower than before. And when stress goes down, your immune system gets a chance to strengthen. Chronic stress, especially the kind that builds up quietly in older adults who may feel isolated or overwhelmed, is a known enemy of the immune system. It suppresses white blood cell activity and leaves your body more vulnerable to infection and disease. By reducing stress, solo pleasure opens the door for your natural defenses to work more efficiently. Some studies have shown that people who engage in regular sexual activity, including masturbation, produce higher levels of immunoglobulin A. That's a key antibody found in the saliva and mucous membranes that serves as your body's first line of defense against pathogens. It may sound like a technical detail, but it means your body is better equipped to stop colds, flu, and even more serious infections before they start. Take the case of Linda, a 73-year-old woman who had spent years struggling with chronic sinus infections and seasonal allergies. Her doctor prescribed medications, but the relief was always temporary. During a group wellness session, someone brought up the role of self-pleasure in immunity. Linda was skeptical, but open-minded. She decided to make it part of her evening wind-down routine, not out of obligation, but out of curiosity. Over the next year, she noticed fewer flare-ups, better sleep, and an overall improvement in how resilient she felt during cold season. Coincidence, maybe? But when she mentioned it to her doctor, even he admitted the physiological link made sense. It's easy to overlook the connection between pleasure and immunity, especially in a culture that tends to treat aging bodies as fragile or inactive. But the truth is, your body never stops being responsive to care, and that includes joyful, stress-reducing, hormone-balancing forms of self-care. Masturbation isn't a miracle cure, but it can be one part of a larger wellness strategy that keeps your immune system alert, active, and ready to protect you. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now, well, let's move forward. Number 5. Pelvic floor strengthening. When most people think about ways to keep their body strong after 60, they think about walking, light weights, or maybe stretching. But what if one of the best exercises for your core and lower body wasn't found in a gym at all? Masturbation, especially when it involves climax, actively engages and strengthens the pelvic floor muscles, a crucial group of muscles that support the bladder, bowel, and even sexual function. The pelvic floor acts like a hammock at the base of your abdomen. With age, those muscles can weaken, leading to issues like urinary incontinence, prolapse, and reduced sexual sensitivity. Many seniors are told to do Kegel exercises to maintain strength in this area, but what's often left out of the conversation is that sexual activity, including solo activity, can work these muscles, too, often more naturally and more enjoyably. During orgasm, your pelvic floor contracts rhythmically. Much like during a Kegel, these contractions stimulate blood flow, increase muscle tone, and encourage responsiveness. The more consistently this happens, the stronger those muscles become over time, and the benefits extend far beyond the bedroom. Consider how many older adults struggle with urinary control. A weak pelvic floor can make sneezing, laughing, or even standing up quickly a risky business. But strengthening those muscles helps reduce leaks and improves bladder control, offering a sense of freedom and confidence that's often taken for granted in youth. Take Robert, for instance. At 78, he'd been experiencing mild leakage when getting up from a chair or after long walks. His doctor recommended pelvic floor therapy, and part of that plan included encouraging regular, comfortable sexual activity. Robert, who had been widowed for over a decade, hadn't thought of masturbation as a health strategy. But he gave it a try, slowly and respectfully. Over time, his control improved, and so did his outlook. He said it wasn't just about the physical improvement, it was about reconnecting with a part of himself he'd assumed was behind him. For women, the story is just as powerful. Strengthening the pelvic floor improves vaginal tone, helps prevent prolapse, and supports healthy circulation in the entire pelvic region. These changes don't just help with physical comfort. They also impact confidence, posture, and even how one walks and carries themselves. And here's another thing to consider. When you strengthen one part of your body, especially a central one, like the pelvic floor, it often triggers a ripple effect. Better muscle tone leads to better balance, which reduces fall risk. Improved circulation means healthier tissues and faster recovery from minor strains or injuries. This kind of support is exactly what the aging body needs, and yet, it often comes from the most overlooked places. It's also important to remember that these muscles, like all muscles, respond best to regular use. Just like skipping leg day weakens your legs, neglecting your pelvic floor leads to atrophy and dysfunction. Masturbation offers a non-invasive, no-cost, and completely private way to maintain that part of your body on your terms, in your timing, and in a way that respects your comfort level. So, when we ask how often is healthy, it's not about a strict schedule or a number. It's about listening to your body, recognizing its signals, and giving it the stimulation it needs to stay strong. The pelvic floor is foundational, and tending to it even through pleasure is an act of strength, not indulgence. Final thoughts. So, here's the truth. Aging doesn't mean disconnecting from your body. In fact, now more than ever, staying in touch with your body quite literally can be one of the most powerful ways to protect your health, your spirit, and your sense of self. We've spent this video walking through how masturbation, when approached with care and intention, supports everything from hormone balance and circulation to emotional peace and pelvic strength. But beneath all the science is something even more important. The quiet message that your body still matters, that you still matter. There is no shame in seeking comfort, connection, or relief through something so natural and human. In fact, choosing to care for yourself in this way, privately, gently, on your own terms, is one of the most dignified things you can do. It's not about how often you do it. It's about giving yourself permission. Permission to feel. Permission to heal. Permission to remember that aging doesn't mean silence, stillness, or shutting down. It means listening more deeply, honoring your needs, and finding new ways to thrive. So whether you're 65 or 85, partnered or alone, curious or cautious, know this. Your body is not a relic of the past. It's still alive, still capable, still deserving of attention. And if self-pleasure is a part of how you stay grounded, vibrant, and whole, then you're not doing something wrong. You're doing something profoundly right. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Thanks for watching. and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.